Hi everyone, Marisa Stone here with Simon Says Social and the Systems Lounge, and I am super excited to welcome you to the 2018 Premier International Women's Business Systems Virtual Summit, where you get to learn all about the systems that our speakers are using to get things done. And I am super excited to have Rebekah Jones here today. She is going to be asking the crucial question, does your business need a budget? The answer to that is yes. And before we dive into that conversation, let me tell you a little bit about Rebekah. Rebekah is the sensible bookkeeper with a deep financial heritage. Her grandmother, her father, her aunt were all accountants / bookkeepers. She digs into the books, and she feels like this is always an adventure to really take a closer look at people's books and finances. She irons out all those difficulties and automates as much as she possibly can to make it easier on her clients so that she can give them peace of mind and clarity about their true financial positions. And I know a lot of us are like, I really don't want to know. No, you really do want to know. Rebekah actually lives in Alabama with her hubby and her 5 fur babies, which I think is so cute. When she's not working, you're normally going to find her reading. Rebekah, I'm so excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for being on the summit.
Oh, Marisa, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Okay, so let's just begin at the beginning. What does it really mean to put our business on a budget?
Well, it's not as bad as it sounds.
Because it sounds a little grueling, I'll be honest with you.
It does, and even though I'm the one who says budget, it's not the term I prefer. And it's actually, that term kind of has a little bit of a negative connotation to it. Because when you hear the word budget, you just kind of tighten up, it's like, oh, I don't want to go there, right? But when you have to put your business on you have to have some sort of management with your finances, with your business, if it truly is a business.
Right.
So, if you're just out there to have fun and it's a hobby and you don't care, well then fine. You don't, step away this. If you are in business and you want to grow your business and you want to achieve success in your business, whatever that means to you, then stick around, because we need to talk about your business finances and different ways to manage them appropriately.
And I love that you say different ways to manage them appropriately, because that's really what we're talking about here. So why do entrepreneurs need to be concerned with this idea of putting their business on a budget?
Mm-hmm. Right. You can't build a house on a shaky foundation. That's really what it boils down to. You wouldn't go out and say, oh, here's a lovely pool of quicksand. Let's build a house right here. That'll be a great place to live, And you don't want to do that in your business either. Right. You need to have a firm financial foundation. It's a little hard to say, but it's very important.
Yeah.
So that you can grow your business. You don't want your business to be stagnant. You don't want to only be serving in a small space.
Right.
Oh, well, I can only take 2 clients right now because, I don't know what's going on with my finances. I'm not comfortable in going forward and growing my business, raising my prices, right, attracting new clients. You won't be in a space to be able to do those things if you don't have that firm financial foundation. And so that's what we're going to talk about today.
And that makes so much sense. And I love the way that you put it like that. But let me back up for these naysayers out here.
Sure.
Isn't my business budget simply making sure that my income is more than my expenses?
I'm glad you said that, because, I'll hear that. Oh, well, I'm good because
I'm good. I'm not in the red. I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so much more than that. It is so much more than that. Granted, that's an important piece. If you are spending more than you're making, you're going to have a problem.
Right.
Guaranteed.
Right.
But you're going to have problems if that's all you're looking at. You're like, hey, I made $5 more than I spent this month. I'm in the black. We're good to go. Yeah, no, that's not enough. There's so much more that you need to know, whether that is, can I meet my expenses next month, 2 months from now, 6 months from now? Am I prepared for an emergency?
Right.
what is my ROI, my return on investment, whether that investment is financial or whether it is time that you're investing. You know, understanding your numbers in a whole myriad of different ways is what's going to help you get that foundation that you need to be able to grow your business.
Mm-hmm.
Income greater than expenses is important. You are correct, but
yeah.
it's just one little tiny piece of that puzzle.
Yeah, and $5 more, I don't think even buys you lunch today.
Or not a very good one anyway, right? But Marissa, before we go on, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Okay? When I say the word budget or you hear the word budget, what do you think of? What comes to your mind instantly when you hear budget?
A plan.
Okay, what kind of plan?
A plan to manage my money in such a way that I am accomplishing my goals. So for me, because I do systems, everything begins with a goal. And so I think a lot of people have this kind of weird negative connotation, you know, that they associate this weird negative connotation with the word budget, but really in my mind, it's just like setting up a system. It's just like, you know, utilizing a tool to accomplish the goal. That's really in my mind what we're talking about.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you know, I love that you said that because I think you're in the minority there.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Because it's great. Congratulations. But, and you know, a lot of people, when they hear the word budget, yes, it is scary, but it's scary. They've tried it before and it's failed for them.
Yeah.
Because they're trying what I term to be a traditional budget. Now, let me explain what I mean by a traditional budget. What if you were lucky and were taught this in high school, then you were probably taught a spreadsheet type of deal. What's right there, by saying the term spreadsheet, I probably scared half the people away.
Right.
But
come back.
That's not what we're not going to talk spreadsheets really today, except in a not happy situation. I love spreadsheets, okay, but then that's me.
Yeah.
But a budget where January 1st, you wake up, my New Year's resolution is to manage my money. So I'm going to open up the spreadsheet program. I'm going to put my income for the next 12 months, and I'm going to break that out, $2,000 a month, break it out into giving and to rent and to groceries and I got to make sure I've got that fun money. All I've got left is $50, but that's what I'll do, you know?
Right.
After about 2 weeks, maybe 3 if you're lucky, you've thrown that thing out the window.
Yeah.
Not working for you.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows in January how much they're going to spend on groceries in August. I mean, come on, really, that's just not realistic.
Right.
So that's a traditional budget and it doesn't work. And that's not what we're going to be talking about today. We're not going to be talking about the spreadsheet, the traditional budget type of idea. I really, you know, we'll talk about things that are true about that one and how the system that I recommend is different. We'll talk about that, but I wanted just to preface right now before we jump any further in, because I know we're talking about budget and people are probably thinking this spreadsheet thing and like, oh, I'm dreading hearing what she's going to say. I've got my paper out, but I don't want to write any notes because I want to bury my head in the sand. This is not fun.
Right.
Well, I agree. It's not fun. I don't like those kind of budgets. They don't work. And we're going to talk about why they don't work and what you can do instead.
And one of the things that you say you can do instead is called this cash management system.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, because that sounds like so much more fun to me.
It is. It is. Yeah, exactly. It's a cash management system. And those are the terms that I'm starting to use in my business and with my clients. I'm not even going the budget route, you know, I'm saying, or I will say an unbudget, you know,
right.
The opposite here, you know, it's a cash management system. What we're basically doing is we're taking your cash on hand and we are putting it to work. And so we're managing the actual cash that you see. So we're not predicting your income 6 months out. We're dealing with what we know. We're dealing with actual real dollars and cents, and we're dealing with reality and not something that we've made up moving forward. So that's really honestly the first characteristic that I have here of a traditional budget is that it forces you to predict your income, like we were saying with the spreadsheet thing. And you've got it. A lot of us, hey, we're entrepreneurs, right? We can't predict what's going to happen next month.
That's right. And the reality is, as part of being an entrepreneur, is understanding that you're going to have, you know, ups and downs in your business, especially with regard to your finances. And so when you try to predict that out, or yes, it's important to project what you think is going to happen throughout your year, But by trying to predict that, you're already setting yourself up for failure because, hello, there's going to be a certain percentage of the time that unfortunately you are wrong.
We haven't perfected that whole future telling thing.
That's right. So let's deal with the
that.
things that we have on hand. And I love that you present it like that instead of saying, oh, tell me in a couple of, months what you're going to be doing. And
yeah, no, exactly. So the cash management system uses actual numbers. We're not, we deal with it on, maybe it's a daily basis, but as you receive income, that's when it goes into your plan.
Yeah.
Never dealing with tomorrow. Right. You're always dealing with today.
Yeah.
Maybe yesterday if you wanted to wait today, but you're never dealing with tomorrow. So you're dealing with actual existing numbers and not predictions. So that's what I love about a cash management system.
Yeah.
Also, one other key or characteristic about the traditional budgets is that they're set in stone. You know how hard it is to change something when you have this spreadsheet, this complex thing, and you're like, oh, well, I need to do $300, not $200.
Mm-hmm. Now the whole
Never
thing.
mind. I give up. I'm just going to go spend the money because it's there,
Right.
Whereas with the cash management system, it's very adjustable. It was created. In fact, the system that I use, which we will talk about, it was created specifically so that it can be flexible and it can work with you and change with you as your needs change, as your experiences change, as emergencies come up. So you need to be flexible to be able to cover things. It's very adjustable. And then the third thing with a traditional budget that is a characteristic that I found is that after a little while, it becomes a fictional fantasy. It's like this beautiful little, oh, it looks so lovely, but it has no bearing on reality anymore.
At all.
Completely out the window, And whereas the cash management system is an accurate picture of your finances. So it helps you in deciding what to do next. Am I going to buy this new car? Am I going to keep this little one going for a couple more months until I'm ready to go? But it gives you a good picture. It is accurate and it's realistic. Instead of being this fantasy out there. So that's why I advocate a cash management system instead of the traditional budget.
And I love that. I totally love that. But another thing that you teach your clients is this, that the foundation to successful business finances is actually starts with a solid management of your personal finances.
Exactly.
And I don't want to get away from this conversation until we've identified why that is the case. Because I think a lot of people come into this thinking, we see it on Instagram and Facebook all the time, these overnight successes. As an entrepreneur, you can make $1 million overnight and you're not going to have to worry about that. That's not necessarily true. Most overnight successes takes 20 something years to get there. And there's a lot of management in between now and then that you are going to have to deal with. So can we talk for a moment about why it's important to have these solid management skills inside your personal finances in order to have a successful business finance plan?
Exactly. Thank you for mentioning that. It goes back really to the foundation that we talked about earlier. Now we were talking about specifically in the business with, having a good business foundation, but you need that in your personal life too. So much. So if you're struggling with managing your personal finances and you're not sure where you're at, and maybe you're thinking, oh, maybe bankruptcy is the best option or something like that. I've been there. We could spend the rest of this talking about my story and how I got to where I am today. But it's a scary place to be.
It is.
And these principles that we're going to talk about today are I was going to say universal, but they'll work for both sides, for personal and for business. So you want to have your personal finances in good shape because that's what your business is building off of as well. And just if you're struggling with your personal finances, you're going to struggle with your business finances. It's not like, oh, well, it's business. So
it's different.
No, it's the same. Sorry, love. It's the same person running both.
That's right. And it's still a cash management plan.
It's still we still need to get you settled there too, because if let me throw an example or a what if scenario, I guess, type of thing out here too. If you're struggling with your personal finances and your business starts taking off, you're going to have some difficulty in keeping personal and business separate. You're
Yeah.
going to be super, super tempted
Mm.
to, well, I'll just pay for that with a business account because there's more money in there.
Right.
And you're opening up a scary door, and some really scary potential pitfalls can come from that.
Yeah.
So keeping your personal foundation steady is going to help you keep your business foundation rock solid and give you the peace of mind about finances on both sides so that you can continue to grow and have the confidence in growing your business. Finances are taken care of too. One
Yeah.
thing I do advocate is from your business, paying yourself early and often, I mean, as often as possible in order to help keep, you need to be able to have the personal funds as well, especially there's so many entrepreneurs, out there, and probably people who are watching this right now who maybe they're a single mom.
Mhm.
And so this is their only source of income. So you better be darn sure making sure you're getting enough out of your business
Yeah.
to cover your own personal bills, but
Yeah.
pay for them from your personal account. And we can talk about that later too.
Cool. Perfect. So another thing that you work with your clients on, and I know we're coming to the end of this interview already, and it doesn't feel like it's.
Oh my goodness, how's that possible?
I know. But you talk about the 4 keys to financial peace of mind, which is allocate, breathe, cash, and defer. Can we talk for a moment about those before we jump off of this interview?
Absolutely. Well, I definitely want to do that because that you can use these 4 keys no matter what cash management system that you're using. There's
Yeah.
multiple ones out there. Obviously, I have my favorite, but allocate. Allocate is basically assigning a task to each dollar as it comes in. So you receive $100 and you tell your system, I want to use that $100 in these ways. Okay, I'm putting this amount towards taxes. I'm putting this amount towards my paycheck. I'm putting this amount towards this bill, this amount towards that bill, until you've got a big fat zero left.
Yeah.
It's budgeting every single dollar. So that's the allocate. That's the fun part, really.
That's the fun part.
I love doing that. And we're going to do that in the next session. So we're going to assign a task to for each dollar, and then breathe, go with the flow. If something happens and, I only had $20 budgeted for that and the bill came through and it was 25, it's okay. You can take a look at your management system, take $5 and put it over there to cover. And it's okay. You can go with the flow. Just keep breathing through the process.
Yeah.
The third thing is cash. And that's not CASH. That's CACHE. It's like a storehouse type thing. And that is putting aside funds for larger expenses.
Yeah.
One thing that I make sure that I do in my business is I like to buy the annual plans for my tools that I use. Because you usually save a little bit of money that way, and I'm all about saving money. But when the bad part about it is when that bill comes due, that's a pretty nice chunk of change that you've got to be able to kick out.
Yeah.
So during the course of the year, I'm putting funds aside from the income that I'm making for that expense, so that when it hits, I've already got the money set aside in my account for it, and I can pay that bill, and I don't have to stress over where's that money going to come from.
Nice.
So that's that's cash.
Yeah.
But aside funds, large expenses, and then defer is fun to watch because defer is using this month's income, next month's expenses.
Nice.
So that way you're always a month ahead, at least, and then you can keep working. Hey, guess what? Now I'm 2 months, or now I'm 3 months.
Right.
But deferring those that income out to the following month gives you that cushion, gives you that buffer, so that especially in our work, if you have a leaner month, you're not going to feel the pain of that as much when you are working ahead like that. And hey, I've got a 3-month buffer. I could take a month vacation and I'm still okay.
Right.
If you have to, like, oh, you know what? My dad's sick. He's in the hospital and I need to go over there right now. You have the confidence of knowing you don't have to be hustling every single day to meet ends meet because you've been deferring your income to the next month and everything's running smoothly. Now that is pretty automatic in a lot of cash management systems, but it's a key point to keep in mind that that's the goal that we're reaching forward, is to the money that I'm making today, next month or the following month
Right.
on my expenses.
Yeah. And I love that idea too. It really does take the pressure off as an entrepreneur to be able to say, okay, well, I'm good for several months. So if you need to take
Right.
some time off for some reason, you can.
Yeah.
So I know we're going to be diving much, much deeper into this idea of budgeting our business in the next interview. Before I let you go, how can people reach out to you? Let's say they just want to pick your brain about all of this and figure out what they need to be doing in their own cash management plan, access some of your resources, or perhaps even work with you. How can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. Well, Facebook's a great way to connect. Unfortunately, I live on Facebook. I'm there way too much. So you can always reach me there. I also encourage you to grab the free resource that I created specifically for this here. It's called 10 Things You Can Do Right Now to Take Back Control of Your Money. And it's just this little report that goes over some things that obviously one of those is the system. So you've got kind of a sneak peek already into what those things are, but there's other ones in there that can definitely help. And that gets you, you'll be then able to get the emails. I send out emails every week and they are full of tips and education and special things that I'm doing. So great ways to get in touch with me that way are those two things to do.
Thank you so much, Rebekah. This has been absolutely amazing. Guys, definitely click on the links below and take advantage of the resources that Rebekah is sharing with you today. And if you're struggling with figuring out how to get your finances in check inside your business, you're going to want to check out the advanced session that Rebekah has provided with us today. This is this much deeper dive that we are getting ready to take with her that is going to help us to truly understand how to get our own cash management system up and running. But in order to do that, you're going to have to upgrade to the All Access Pass. If you have not yet grabbed your All Access Pass, there's a button below this video that will take you straight to the page so that you can snag that now. Not only are you going to get all the live versions of the interviews that you are watching right now, but you also get lifetime access to every single one of these deeper dives that I'm taking with every one of our speakers, and you do not want to miss that one, I promise. Rebekah, thank you so much for everything you've shared today. This has been fantastic.
Yay, I've loved it. Thanks so much for having me, Marisa.
Awesome. Guys, we will see you inside the All Access Pass. Bye, everyone.